Hello learners, welcome to the today's session. In this session we shall discuss about food from horticultural crops. As we all know that the horticultural crops are those crops which are grown on an orchard basis. Orchard means a place, designated place where plants are planted under a defined geometry. So there are other factors are also just to make the plant grow healthy and in their proper shape and size. So if you talk about the horticultural crops, primarily fruit, vegetable and flower, these are the three important crops which are under the horticultural crops. So can these crops be used as food items? This is the discussion theme for today's lecture. And if you see the horticultural crops, as I already spoken, they are basically orchard based, primarily the fruit crops. The fruit crops are planted in a proper geometry at a designated place, and the all inputs like water, intercultural operations, fertilizers are given according to the geometry. The other classes of crops under horticultural crops are vegetable crops. They are the actually larger group of the plants which are consumed as fresh as well as also cooked. In the flowering plants also, sometimes if you talk about the horticulture as a whole, then the landscaping and lawn development are also a component of flowering part. But here, since we are talking about the food crops, therefore we will discuss about the flowers which are consumed as a food material. So fruit and vegetables are the principal horticultural food crops. The country produces significant quantity of fruit and vegetable every year. During year 2023-24, as an advance estimate, the country produced 113 million metric ton of fruit and 205 million metric tons of vegetable. In the world, the country stands at second rank in both fruit and vegetable production, accounting to almost 11% of the total world fruit production and as well as 13 to 14% of the total vegetable production. That is why the India is the second largest producer of fruit and vegetable after China. And this is because the India has diverse agroecological conditions. And with the diverse agroecological conditions, we grow diverse fruit crop, diverse vegetable crops, diverse flowering plants. And therefore, as a whole, if you see the diversity of plants in India, it is probably one of the significant countries in the world. And it has accordingly wide food categories also, because the food are drawn from the different plant sources, and according to the agroecological conditions, their consumption is done. So if you see the ethnicity, according to the agroecological conditions, that depends upon the kind of fruit and vegetables grown there, and they are grown for the objective of obtaining foods out of them. A number of food products are prepared from fruit, vegetable and flowers, and therefore we can say that a number of food products are prepared from horticultural crops. So every day we are consuming fruit and vegetables, therefore their significance can be understood in terms of the kind of nutrient which we draw. So we can also understood the level of nutrients in them. We can see that they are essential for the supply of the essential nutrients to our body, and to keep our body healthy, those essential nutrients are important. Now let us have comparison between fruit and vegetable. Those plants products which are generally eaten with the main course of meal are often considered to be vegetable, and fruits are commonly eaten as dessert. Fruits are generally acidic and sugary in nature, whereas vegetables are low in acid and sugar. So this is the basic difference in their compositions. Like this fruit contains more sugar and they are acidic in nature, whereas the vegetables are just opposite. They contain less sugar, therefore they are less acid in their nature. Fruits are mature ovaries containing the seeds of the plant. whereas vegetables are derived from various plant parts such as root, leaves, stems, bud, or even the grains of the pods also, that is also consumed as vegetable, but sometimes that can also be called as curry preparations which are consumed as a food. Now classification of fruits. If you see the soft fruits, basically the berries are the main part of the soft fruits like raspberry, blackberry, strawberry. Citrus fruits, a wide range of plants which fall under this category, and the plants which are most important are like orange, lime, lemon, grapefruits. So they are citrus fruit, they are acidic in nature and they contains different kinds of acid which are consumed for different purposes also. Stone fruits, the fruit crops which contains harder seed in them, that is why they are called stone fruits, like plum, apricot, peach, lychee. They have a hard seed coat in their fruits. So if you break that seed coat, below it there will be soft seed which are able to produce different plants, and that is also consumed sometimes. So the pulp is also eaten, and after removing of the hard seed coat, the cotyledons or the seed material, the endosperm, is also consumed as food material. Fleshy fruit like apple, papaya, pineapple, pear and banana, these are the fruit crops which are consumed in a larger amount compared to other fruit crops, and equally they are grown in a higher proportion compared to other fruit crops. Moreover, if you compare with their fruit structure with other fruits, then their fruit contains more amount of the pulp. Therefore, they are called pulpy or fleshy fruits. Vine fruits, basically their classification has been made according to their plant growth, their plant type. Vine fruits are those fruits which are obtained from trailing plants. Trailing means the plant which doesn't grow erect or straight, rather it grow by creeping or climbing on certain other supports, like grape, watermelon, and also cucumber, different kinds of loofah varieties, they are also grown in such a way, like bitter gourd, they are also grown in that way. So they are consumed by taking out their fruits, their pod you can call, their fruit, or what you call basically in a botanical term they have a different name, but basically they are called fruits. So sometimes the vegetable and fruits are not much distinct. Like if you see the tomato is also consumed as a fruit and also used as a vegetable. So here watermelon is consumed as a fruit, and in certain pockets some part of watermelon is also consumed as curry, which is not sugary or which doesn't contain the sugar amount. If you classify the fruit crops according to their agroclimatic condition requirements, then they fall under 4 categories. Temperate fruits like apple, peach, plum, pear. Subtropicals, the temperate fruits are grown at higher elevations like on mountains, and the subtropicals are those which are grown in plain as well as little elevated plain where high rainfall is there. Basically mango, banana, citrus, grape, lychee and jamun, guava, pomegranate, sapota, jackfruit. Tropical fruits are where scanty rainfall is there, like pineapple, papaya, cashew nut, coconut. Of course, in tropical certain areas, there is also intense rain for some specific period of time, but their entire monsoon period is less than the tropical period, tropical agroclimatic condition. And arid fruits are those fruits which are grown in dryland areas, like bear, amla, date palm, where rain is very, very less. If you see the agroclimatic conditions, there are 4 classes. The temperate fruits, the temperate agroclimatic conditions, chilling is essential, rainfall is more in these areas, and subtropical areas, mix of heat and cold weather, rainfall is sufficient. In tropical, prevalence of hot weather for longer period of time, and of course rain is also poor. it comes with high intensity for a small period of time, whereas in subtropical, the rainfall is spread for a wider period of time. And in arid fruits, which grow only in hot weather, and there is a scanty rainfall. If you see the processing of fruits, this is very interesting part of the food production from fruit crops. Cleaning and grading, this is very important. Peeling, juice extraction, blanching, and also sometimes you might have seen that if you have properly cleaned and graded, then you have obtained good quality of fruit product which are consumed in different forms like jam, jelly, other pickles, other kinds of materials like pickles, spreads. So they are consumed like that. So these are the important aspects of fruit-based foods which are consumed by us. Now coming to the vegetable-based food crops. So the nutritive importance of vegetables are like vegetables are rich in vitamin A, ascorbic acid, that is vitamin C, protein, and they also contains fiber. Carrot, sweet potatoes, green leafy vegetables, and tomato are best source of vitamin A. Among vegetables, hot chili pepper, turnip, greens, and spinach are also good source of different nutrients. Sweet pepper, hard chilies, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and bitter gourd are prominent sources of vitamin C. Vitamin B is found in green peas, lima beans, turnip, greens, spinach, sweet potato, etc. Potato is important source of potassium for the pupil in many countries. And if you see, potato is widely spread vegetable crop in the world, and it is also consumed in a higher proportion compared to any other vegetable crop in the world. Lima bean and soybean and spinach are good source of iron also. Calcium is present in moderate amount in the turnip greens, soybean, garlic, parsley, and Chinese cabbage. Soybean here, it is used as the raw pods, green pods. Vegetables are equally good source of dietary fibers. Now, what are the important vegetable crops of our country? In winter, we grow potato, tomato, pea, cauliflower, onion, palak, radish, carrot, etc. In rainy season, we grow chili, brinjal, okra, beans, and in summer season, we grow cucumber, gourds, and also the beans. Nowadays, the scientists have developed certain climate insensitive varieties which are grown in different climatic conditions. Therefore, such distinction cannot be made in such cases. Therefore, it is very essential we should know the modern scientific developments which are taking place, particularly for the varietal development of different vegetable crops. And therefore, you might be observing that mostly all vegetable crops are available round the year. And there is also high-tech cultivation of vegetable crops through which we are growing all off-seasonal vegetable crops during all seasons. For example, cucumber can very well grown during the winter season by creating artificial structure, artificial climatic condition through greenhouses, through polyhouses, through other high-tech structures. And likewise, the okra, the chilies, the gourds, they are all grown around the year, cutting across the all agroecological conditions, because we have now technologies, we have varieties, and that can suitably allow them to grow. But their food values are not to that extent which are obtained during their particular season. So seasonal vegetables are still better than off-seasonal vegetables. Now, what are the classifications of the vegetables, particularly if you consider the usable parts? The root vegetables, carrots, sweet potatoes; leaf vegetables, spinach and lettuce; stem vegetables, bamboo shoots and asparagus. Of course, bamboo shoots are not much prevalent in many parts of the country, but if you go to the northeastern states or northeastern part of our country like Meghalaya, Manipur, Sikkim, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, people are using bamboo shoots for their culinary preparations, and they are consumed in larger proportion compared to other vegetables. Inflorescence vegetables like cauliflowers, broccoli, etc., whose inflorescence is used for for food, fruit and pods like brinjal, tomato, pea, beans. You all know that their pods are used for culinary preparations and they have greater food values in them. If you see the processing of vegetable crops, they are also processed using grading, peeling, drying, preparation of value-added products. Now, grading, I'm talking in both the cases, particularly fruits and vegetables, and also other crops also are graded. The basic purpose of grading is to get better price in the market. The other purpose is less importance objective of the grading is to select uniform size of product so that under processing that product can be converted into good food product. Like for jam, jelly, marmalade and other value-added products, you have to have uniform fruits or uniform pods so that their production can be easily done and their quality is also assured to the greater extent. Moreover, the food value is also higher in the uniform fruits or uniform pods of the plant-based products. Peeling is done to avoid any kind of contamination, to remove the unwanted or the damaged part of the fruits or vegetables, and drying is done in order to preserve the fruit and vegetables for consumption during off season. And this is very much prevalent in particularly in those areas where a particular fruit or vegetable is produced in larger quantity at a time and its consumption is not done to that extent or it cannot be sold out also. Therefore, to avoid the perishability, they are dried in the sunset, or now dryers are also available. So, without losing their much nutritive values, they can safely be dried and preserved for consumption during off seasons. And preparation of value-added products. Like I have already discussed in case of fruits, that jam, jelly, but in vegetables, the pickles are most important preparations which are done from the vegetables, and that improves your food values, that improves your palatability of the food items, and they are also consumed round the year. Moreover, they have high market values also. So different value added products like pickles, jellies and other products are prepared from vegetable crops, and also some chutneys are also prepared from the different vegetables like coriander leaves, garlic leaves, but that cannot be preserved for longer period of time. But yes, if you prepare ketchup from the tomato, that can be preserved with the help of using citric acid or by other preservatives. You can preserve them and you can use around the year. So this actually gives you wider scope of production of different foods from vegetable and fruit crops, and that can be consumed around the year, though their production is limited to a certain agroclimatic conditions, to certain period of year, certain time you can call it. But if you want to make it available to yourself or to your family or to the market around the year, you must process them properly and produce the different value-added products. If you see the preservation of fruit, I have already discussed that packed fruits, they are very much prevalent in the market. In modern days, when there is a concept of use of ready-to-eat fruits, then the packed juice and packed fruits are very much important. They are packed, they are done with all kinds of processing, use of preservative is there, and juice is extracted from the fruit. And if you might have seen different kinds of packed juices are available in the market, and they offer greater food from the fruits. Preparation of value-added product, I have already discussed about jam, jelly preparation, pickle and all those things. And canning is another important method of preservation of the fruit. through which different fruit chunks are prepared, and that is either dried or even sometimes they are blanched or they are boiled and they can be preserved using cans. So around the year their consumption can be done. If you see now, the third important part of the horticultural crop is the flower as a food. Most important product which you have seen in the your basket or in the market as a food component is gulkand. Rose water is also very important, that is used in preparation of the sweets. Dry flower petals, that is again used in the chickpeas or different sweet preparations to enhance the food values, as well as also they are used for garnishing purposes. So flower juice like rhododendron, hibiscus, they are also consumed in larger proportion as a food material. And the extract of different flowers is used for flavoring the different food items while their preparation and after preparation also, as well as for different coloring purposes also the flower extracts are used. So flower also offers huge food values under the horticultural crops, and they are becoming important as far as the food of horticultural crops are concerned. Now another category of the horticultural crops, similar horticultural crops is plantation crops, a separate group of food and non-food plants grown through a system plantation. This often involves large landowners raising crops of high value and greater economic importance. Tea, coffee, rubber, areca nut, black pepper, cardamom are some important plantation. Loosely, they can also be classified as some of them are like spices like cardamom, black peppers. Areca nut is also a different kinds of plant, but holistically they are called as plantation crops. Foods from horticultural crops we can consume as fresh food. We can use them processed value-added products like I have already spoken. Beverages are prepared, spices are also again obtained. So these are the categories of the food items which we prepared from the horticultural crops. Now if you see larger part of the food items which are recommended for an ailing person or a diseased person, then certainly the food items from horticultural crop are the most important foods that are recommended. And the reason behind is that they have instant supply of the nutrient, they are easily consumed, and they have such a flavor that attracts the consumer towards them. They are having different colors, they are having different other important ingredients which are essentially available with them and which are required for the consumer. Therefore, fruit and vegetable and flower, collectively called as horticultural crops, produces a good amount of the foods for our consumption. Thank you.